Hello everyone, this is Crota coming at you with Game 2 in this King of the Hill style matchup. It is going to be Aura versus JKS here on a different version of Shakura's Plateau. More on that a little bit later. Anyways, let's take a look at the game. JKS spawning on the top right hand side of the map as the blue Zerg. Meanwhile, L of Aura spawning as the red Protoss. Now, the first time I saw this map after it got downloaded, I was looking at the map, I'm like, what map is this? I can't figure out what map this is. It is just Shakura's Plateau in all of its, I guess, lighted splendor. Shakura's, if you did not know, does not have a sun, I don't believe. Or, hold on. Sneeze on camera for the win. I guess not on camera, on recording for the win. So Shakura's normally does not have a sun, so there shouldn't be any daylight. But somehow, I guess this is what Shakura's Plateau looks like if it was on more of a desert style map. And the game is getting underway, so we'll see how this game will come to play. The probe is coming around the backside. It will quickly see that there is no spawning pool. And with no spawning pool, he knows that most likely a hatchery will be placed down momentarily. Now coming up over here, a drone going to come up the ramp. It will spot the pylon on the front door, and an interesting location on that pylon. Drones or roaches from over here should be able to attack this pylon. And as long as there's a roach on the ramp, it should be able to actually spot that there. Oh, what is this? A proxy hatchery? Oh my, okay, so, this is one of the strangest openings I've seen in quite some time. And what JKS is going to be able to do is deny his opponent his hatchery, and then perhaps try to train up a lot of drones, or a lot of Zerglings, and then perhaps even some drones for spine crawlers. This will be very, very difficult. The forge will be done in just a second. You'll see that the forge will be done in about 5 seconds or so. The hatchery still needs a lot of time, and I can't imagine that this strategy will actually work. Aura, as long as he handles this well, one photon cannon is all he needs to really stop this, and he'll be able to handle this pretty much single-handedly. There is a zealot that's gonna most likely be trained up as well. We are gonna have it chrono boosted out. We are not getting any Zerglings just quite yet. The photon cannon still needs 20 seconds to go, and all this hatchery is going to do is perhaps, is it going to get canceled is the key question. So it could get canceled, and then a new hatchery could be built back at home. No, the hatchery is not canceled. Photon cannon is now done, and this is just going to delay this nexus for quite a while. A probe now making its way down over here. You can see a lot of damage is being absorbed by that hatchery. The hatchery does have 1 base armor, so it should help. And also we're going to see whether or not enough Zerglings are going to be trained. 1 queen now being trained. The Zerglings are backing off and backing around. The Zerglings are trying to dance away. The hatchery taking a lot of damage so far. And what is going to happen here as the Zerglings are still running back? This queen on the far side of the map, I can't imagine it's going to be very useful at all. As the Zerglings now make their way inside the base, there is going to be a queen now, and the queen is out. The queen is backing off over here. Perhaps, yes, going to lay down a creep tumor. And oh, is the Zealots going to be able to finish it off? Yes, Broodlings are now out, though. And the Broodlings are going to take down the Zealots. The Zealots, no, the Zealots are able to slip away. It looks like 1 Zealot is going to be able to survive. No, yes, did not focus down the right unit there. 2 very low hit points. But now we see that there are Zerglings on the inside of this base trying to clean up some of these probes. So the probes... A lot of probes were taken, or perhaps some probes. Yeah, a lot of probes were taken out. 5 probes. Zerglings still going after the Zealots. The Zealots, however, now recharging their shields. As I believe this will be one of the strangest games openings I've ever seen. JKS with a proxy hatchery into a queen, into some Zerglings. And now this Zergling just hiding away. Zerglings now trying to make their way inside the base. Metabolic boost has been completed. There's 1 Zergling sitting off over here. The Zergling's going after the Stalker. Not going to be able to make it up there that easily. 1 Zergling does get finished off by the photon cannon. And what is this Zergling going to do? Perhaps try to deal some damage. No, the Stalker is going to be able to finish it off. But there is still 1 Zergling running rabid inside the base, as we are now at 24 drones compared to 22 probes. and JKS dealing a surprising amount of damage with that proxy hatchery there. Let's take a look at the losses. 781 versus 600. But you got to remember that Ara was forced to use a lot of Chrono Boost on Zealots in order to handle that, and on top of that, lost a couple probes, so his probe count is dwindling. There is one Zergling trying to finish off this pylon here. It's not going to work out very well. The Zerglings now making their way back over, going to continue to claw at this. There are now Zerglings perhaps on the low ground to deal with those stalkers as more gateways are being warped in. That one proxy pylon will get destroyed rather easily, and it looks as though it is going to be 2 bases to 2, as I'm not exactly sure what Ara can do or what Ara will transition to at this time. JKS using the time to actually get up double extractors, getting to tier 2. He is getting 6 spine crawlers. There is no gas down over here yet, so I can't imagine JKS trying to go into a spire until the extractors are up, and then trying to harvest about 450 gas a minute. The spire now being established there. There should be about, I would say, 7 to 9 Mutalisks in the skies by the time that one... by the time the spire is done, assuming that JKS can afford to get enough drones up there and saturate, continue to just drone up, get the proper minerals, and also get enough defense, as JKS is getting up 3 spine crawlers on the front door. Stalkers and Zealots now making a move over. There is one Zergling on the low ground as a Zealot gets caught in transit. JKS losing... nope. Yes, losing a Zealot in transit, but also 2 Zerglings were taken down as well. So Ara trying to move out as these Zerglings look to perhaps take down multiple units again. Still one Zealot down over here. Zerglings making their way across the map. There's a Zergling down over here. The Stalkers are going to be able to pick apart the Zergling now. Spine Crawler. We are going into a 4th Spine Crawler, and a 4th Spine Crawler may not get done in time. We'll see how long it takes. Another 20 seconds is needed as the Zerglings look to perhaps hold the Zelnaga Tower and catch more units in transit. And there's a Queen on the front door. 4 Spine Crawlers, obviously more than enough to deal with the Stalkers, Zealots, and Sentries. And we'll see what is going to happen next. JKS still has Zerglings at each of these towers on the north and the south side. Zerglings now making their way across the map. The front door is pretty much sealed. The Sentries should be able to get off a force field right here to completely wall it off, as we are now getting level 1 weapons upgrade. The Zerglings do not want to try to engage. The Zealots the Stalkers now getting in some damage, as we are now getting into about 9 Mutalisks. We are getting some photon cannons in El of Ara's base now, and with El of Ara getting up some photon cannons, these Mutalisks may not be able to deal enough damage. We are already getting into one photon cannon here. I thought I saw a Twilight Council for a second. Perhaps I was mistaken. No, Twilight Council is up. Blink now being researched as the Mutalisks now try to come in, taking down some of those probes, but the Stalker is able to reinforce. That photon cannon is making it difficult to harvest from this particular mineral patch, but it is added defense to make sure that the probes stay alive. One Zealot getting caught in transit once more, as we now have JKS establishing up his 3rd base, and we'll see if JKS will be able to follow up that strange, unorthodox early gameplay, as we now see Sentries trying to engage. However, the Mutalisk coming back in. The Sentries dealing a little bit of damage. The Mutalisk backing off, able to destroy all the probes that were on gas. 3 more probes now back on gas, and we'll see how much damage can be dealt, as JKS now taking a strong economic lead, getting 8 more drones, and he will have about 58 drones compared to 46, and 8 worker advantage. Photon cannon now taking a lot of damage, but the Stalkers are going to arrive just in time. Mutalisks do get taken out, as Zerglings still hugging the top part of the ramp here, looking to perhaps deal some damage and push on the front door. Forge level 2 weapons upgrade now being researched. Level 2 weapons upgrade, very important. We also see that a macro hatch is being established down here. This hatchery has just been established by JKS, so it is 3 bases to 2, 4 hatcheries. 3 bases on 4 hatcheries. Mutalisks still taking to the skies, and the Mutalisks with their 0-0 upgrades, soon to be 1-0 upgrades, should be able to come back in for a bit more harassment. Now, I'm a bit surprised that Ara has not tried to go for a robotics facility yet, or a Stargate. The problem is that if he goes for a Stargate and tries to use Mutalisk, Hydralisk will then just be trained, which will force Ara to then go into a robotics facility and get Colossi. Mutalisk are now coming back in once more, but Stalker is able to blink in, and JKS losing much more than he bargained for. Backing off there. Mutalisk count now down to 11. Let's take a look at the losses. Losses slightly higher for JKS, but no side has really lost a significant number of units. Total losses less than 2,000 resources by both armies. And now with Stalkers moving across the field, we'll see what's going to happen. These Stalkers looking to perhaps control the Xel'Naga towers. They will be able to do exactly that, but that front door now completely wide open. Zerglings just charging in now. One photon cannon was canceled, I believe. No, destroyed, as more and more photon cannons just firing up against those Mutalisks. The Stalkers and the Sentries now looking to do a counterattack instead. There are Zerglings and still some Spine Crawlers on the front door. And when I mean some, I mean about 9 on the front door. And those Stalkers are not going to really be able to engage. Mutalisk now going after the Stalkers here. An Artosis pylon taken down in the main base. And now with 6 unpowered gateways, all that is left is a couple photon cannons and Mutalisk inside the base. Here we go. Stalkers now trying to engage. One Spine Crawler was taken out. Force fields were established, but I think they're doing more harm than good right now. But Ara is doing a good job blinking back with the lower hit point Stalkers after they take a couple points of damage from a Spine Crawler. Stalkers now still need to make their way up. Perhaps another Guardian Shield would be helpful. Stalkers now forced to blink away as the Mutalisks are straight up underneath. The Stalkers unable to blink up on the high ground to get away from those Zerglings. And the Zerglings now still dealing a lot of damage. Stalkers still trying to blink, trying to stay alive. And it looks as though all of those units are going to be destroyed as those Zerglings with that superior movement speed, even though the Stalkers do have blink, unable to really get back home. In come a couple of photon cannons. Zerglings are forced to turn around, and JKS now with a 70 food advantage should be able to just take down pylons and contain Ara inside his base. JKS should either take another base at this point, knowing that his opponent can't really do much about it, or contain his opponent. Ara cannot really move out at this point. He does have a new pylon here, making sure to get additional pylons all across the inside of the base. No more Artosis pylons. Warp gates all on chrono boost, as Ara desperately trying to warp in more and more units. Mutalisk looking to perhaps get some damage on this pylon off over here, but the Stalkers with their superior range and decent movement speed and blink is still able to pick apart units. JKS is taking another base at this time, taking a very smart base, making sure that it's far enough away from his opponent and he's able to transfer some drones over. He is also droning back up, getting up to 65 harvesters now. Spine Crawlers are all repositioning themselves. You can see a lot of Spine Crawlers at the front. Those Stalkers are going to have a very, very difficult time, especially when fighting on creep, as those Zerglings are going to be much, much faster. Stalkers with 2-0 upgrades, unable to deal with the soon-to-be 2-2 Zerglings, as Spine Crawlers are now poking apart at some of these Stalkers. One Spine Crawler down, a second Spine Crawler will get taken down as well. There it goes. Stalkers and Zealots now going to try to walk up the ramp. Stalkers getting there first with a nice timed blink, and JKS will end up losing this one particular hatchery. Stalkers now continuing to just fight up. They are blinking up onto the high ground. The Stalkers are now just on the high ground here. Are the Banelings going to be able to deal enough damage? Yes, they are softening up the units. And now JKS, all he can really look to do now is focus down and finish off these Stalkers, as Ara is now down to a 44 food army, 38 probes, and 3 Stalkers. More Stalkers still being added, but will there be enough? 19 Mutalisk. Zerglings now trying to test the front door. Stalkers quickly blink to the low ground. Mutalisk could perhaps try to catch these Stalkers as they're very, very far out into the field. There's only one photon cannon here. Mutalisk completely destroying multiple probes. The Stalkers now looking to re-engage. However, the Mutalisks know that they have superior numbers and can finish off multiple units. Stalkers are now blinking back. Zerglings may try to test that front door, and it looks like they're doing exactly that as the Mutalisks take down multiple units. And now Zerglings barrel their way in. So Ara saying GG after FXO's JKS with a very interesting proxy hatchery into a queen, tried to lay down a creep tumor. The creep tumor would have prevented a nexus from being established there until an observer or a forge was able to spot it. I mean, with the photon cannon, I'm thinking about it once more, the photon cannon probably could have gotten sight on to that one creep tumor rather easily. But yes, a great game nonetheless. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 2 as JKS takes his winning streak into Game 3. Let's see if he can do the hat trick.